have the gracious presence of Dr. T K Oommen, sir, I would like to take the opportunity to mention that sir has been one of the founding members to establish the 5-year BLLB curriculum for the law students. As he is one of the eminent professor of sociology, and sociology being one of the important subject in the curriculum of BLLB, I would request sir to address the young minds.
Dignitaries on the dais and my victims, I am very impressed by the large number of listeners who are here. I think most of you are students and some faculty members. Now, and this is the first day in this academic year of yours in this college. So let me congratulate all of you who is entering their studies the first day of the academic year. I must congratulate you because you are entering not a mere occupation but a profession. I hope you know the distinction between the two. Anything is an occupation, whether it is driving or cooking or whatever. But professions are very few. In the West, where profession originated, initially there were only 4 professions which were considered to be prestigious, namely medicine, university teaching, law, and Christian ministry. Why they were considered to be prestigious? 1, you can enter any occupation with a very brief period of training. But when you want to enter a prestigious occupation like law, you have to undergo a long and intense period of training, minimum 3 to 4 years. And the pre-entry qualification is also very important. In order to be a driver, I don't need to have any pre-entry qualification. But if you want to be a lawyer and if you want to get a degree in law, you must have a certain level of pre-entry qualification. So pre-entry qualification, long training, and the most important thing is the purpose for which you are trained. Law as a profession has justice as its central point. So, your real purpose is to provide justice to the society in which you are practicing law. And justice is a very important thing in all human societies. Now, this is a very complex subject, and I have actually written a fairly long paper, about 40 printed pages, and published in Indian Bar Review. You are all familiar with the Indian Bar Review. This was published in 1986, and the title is The Legal Profession in India, Some Sociological Perspectives. I am a mere sociologist, not like you, learned lawyers. So, I brought a copy of that, and I will leave it with one of the persons. And those who are interested in reading it can get it photostated and read it. So, the 15 minutes which are available at my disposal, I will say very few things about legal profession. I was associated with 2 important universities which specialize in legal profession. One is the Bangalore Law School, the other is the Calcutta Law School. I was on the executive committee for several years, and one of the things which was brought to my notice, or I came to know, is that when you finish your training, there is a big dilemma these days. If you start practicing, it's a long way. Of course, you may become eventually brilliant practitioners, but initially it's a struggle, and I have noted that in my paper. But the most important problem is, these days, the business organizations try to lure you away by giving fat salaries. So the dilemma, the young lawyer who has completed his or her education from prestigious institutions like yours, Asian Law School, Law College, is whether to start an independent practice or to become an employee of a private company, a business organization, because they pay you very well. And if you are lured by that, it's very unlikely that you can really fulfill the mission, namely disbursing justice in the society, because the business organizations have a different purpose. Now, what are the specific characteristics of the Indian legal system? When I looked at the background of the Indian lawyers, when I made the study in 1980s, I found legal profession in India is a male-dominated profession. This is true of most other professions like medicine, university teaching. So, the legal profession in India is a male monopoly, practically. But your college is an exception. I have seen, I've not studied anything about your college, but the two persons, young girls who came to invite me yesterday or day before, left a document about your college. It's a kind of a annual report. And when I looked at it, what is called, they have listed legal luminaries. Their photographs are there. And 41 persons are listed. I think they are faculty members. And the designation that the college has used is legal luminaries. Out of the 41 persons thus listed, 28 are women. Now this is very interesting. It's not happening anywhere, I think. So, your college is a paradise for women. I have not come across this in any other legal institution in India. So, 28 out of 41 persons are women. And I can also see a large number of persons present here are also women. This is very rare, very exceptional. And that I really admire as an institution you have fostered. If you want to know the statistics, that's available in my paper. I will not bore you with that now. But generally speaking, in most institutions, most of the students and teachers are men. But here, majority of the legal luminaries seem to be women, and that is very important. The motto or the objective of this college is said as developing the best by helping the weakest. Developing the best by helping the weakest. Now this is a very noble objective which you have adopted. And generally speaking, for this you have to take some specific measures. I already mentioned the importance which is visible, which is given to women. But there are two other factors which I want to mention. One is class, the other is caste. How many persons who are admitted in the college are from below the poverty line category? We have a large number of people in this country who are below the poverty line. What percentage of students here are below the poverty line? I don't know. Statistics is not available to me. But you must ask this question. Because your motto is developing the best by helping the weakest. Then in India, unlike in other countries, we have this demon of caste system. Indian lawyers, mainly speaking, are from three varnas: Brahmins, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. There is hardly anybody from backward, OBC, other backward classes, or scheduled caste, that is Dalits, or tribals, that is Adivasis. So what percentage of the students and faculty here are drawn from these three categories? Other backward classes, Dalits and Adivasis. It may be interesting for you because they are the weakest in Indian society, and if you want to foster them, you must make some effort to get as many of them as possible into. So I said two factors. One is the poor, those who are from below the poverty line category, and the other socially weak, the OBC, the SC and the ST. Do the institution like yours, which is having the motto of developing the best by helping the weakest, have any policy of recruitment of students and faculty from these categories is the second question that you must ask. So I said three factors are important in the Indian context. One is class, the other is social background or caste, and the third is gender. In gender, you have already done well. But in the other two, have you done well? You have to ask the question and find out. Legal profession is, I said, one of the most prestigious professions in the world, everywhere in the world. But in India, it has a different history. You think of getting admission to the legal course, LLB or whatever. Compare it with MBBS, medicine, or architecture, or any such. You will find legal education has been not given the importance it deserves, and a large amount of work is done in this context. My good friend, late Madhava Menon, whom all of you would know, and partly my interest in legal profession is because of him. And you know, he has initiated the idea of establishing national schools. The first was in Bangalore, and then in Jodhpur and Calcutta and other places. There, very bright students come. But ordinary law schools, and there are many all over the country, do attract people who are, generally speaking, and this is said by lawyers themselves, by various reports, rejects in other fields those who are not finding any possibility of entry into medicine, architecture or engineering, whatever. So the lawyer candidates who are wanting to study are not deemed to be very bright, and that you have to keep in mind. You as a college may be doing very well, but the legal profession in the country as a whole may not be doing well because the background of the students who enter the legal profession is not very appreciable. And I also want to remind you, apart from this, legal profession in India, although it has certain prestige level, if they have prestige, it is not because of their professionalism. If doctors are valued in the society, that is because of the service they do in the field of health. They are usually bright as students and do important service to the society. But lawyers are not given much importance because they practice law, but they are involved in politics. I have made the study of the political background of our MLAs and MPs, and a large proportion of them are lawyers. In other words, the single most occupational category who are politicians, MLAs, MPs, etc. are lawyers. And even as ministers, whether it is in Nehru's ministry or Lal Bahadur Shastri's ministry, is the most important occupational category who are ministers are lawyers. And therefore, the importance of law as a profession comes from the fact which are non-professional, not because they are brilliant lawyers, but because they are important in the political context. In fact, several of our top leaders were all lawyers. Nehru himself was a lawyer, as we know. So, you have to establish over a period of time the importance of law as a profession, not because you are a minister, not because you occupy important position in some context, but your legal wisdom will have to be pressed into service in order to gain a standing in the society. As it stands, this is not true. Lawyers are important not because of their legal wisdom, but because of their political connections, social influence. And I think institutions like yours will have a good role to play. So I don't have much to say, but as I told you, I have this paper which I have studied elaborately the legal profession. I don't want to repeat it. I will leave it to one of your persons and you can read it. It's a long paper, little boring, but then I thought it may be interesting for some of you to read it carefully and understand. Now, I don't have I have a weak voice. I'm a weak man myself, a frail person, and the audition system here is not very conducive for my voice to compete with. I hear the voice as I stand here, and I don't know whether all of you have heard what I said. So, and I don't have a fiery voice like my previous speaker. I'm not an activist like that. I have noted that she was speaking eloquently and a fiery speaker getting frequently claps. I am not saying that you must clap for me, but there are people like her who are capable of inviting clapping, but I am not. So I am a teacher, and a teacher goes on speaking, as I told you, long time, 60 minutes, 50 minutes, but this is a small speech I wanted to make, and I am very happy to have come and seen all of you. Thank you.